Welcome to Richard Suttmeyer's 4 in 4. 4 blips on my radar screen presented in 4 minutes or less. I begin the week comparing the Great Depression with today's The Great Credit Crunch. My first blip explains how Bernanke described the Great Depression in questions and answers following a speech last Thursday. The Fed chief described the Great Depression as a period of 12 years where GDP lost a third of its value and the unemployment rate touched 25%. Bernanke said that the current credit crunch will in no way compare to that economic suffering. My second blip is making some points that any comparison to the Great Depression makes no sense. The unemployment rate has little meaning in today's economy, as many workers are partially employed, leave the workforce, or set up business on the internet, which did not exist in the 1930s. With today's great credit crunch, there are many new terms that did not exist 70 years ago. During the Great Depression, no one could spell derivative, subprime mortgages would be decades away, credit cards were not yet invented, banks did not offer home equity loans, and no one had a credit score. Today there are 500 trillion in notional amount of derivative contracts spread around the world, with 165 trillion among the FDIC-insured financial institutions. The major banks keep finding more write-downs, as I expected. After all, they can't know what they don't know. In the 1930s, community and regional banks did not have a hidden inventory of about 3 million new homes, pre-funded through $629 billion in construction and development loans. My third blip describes how bad things could become during the Great Credit Crunch. The Great Credit Crunch began in 2007, and I predict that it will last 6 years. It will cost GDP between $1.5 and $2 trillion, or about 1/8 of GDP. The unemployment rate has little meaning in this economy. I suggest calculating an underemployment rate for workers who have lost $100,000 jobs for much lower paying jobs. I bet that the underemployment rate is already above 10%. So far today, foreclosures are much lower than the 1930s, but we're only a third of the way through the Great Credit Crunch. Today we're in the Diana Ross mortgage phase, upside down and inside out, as many homeowners are forced out of their homes by foreclosure. And my fourth blip describes the regulators as the 3 blind mice. The U.S. Treasury, Federal Reserve, and FDIC say they did not see the Great Credit Crunch coming. They should have, given the fact that all 3 jointly floated regulatory guidelines for C&D loans and CRE loans in the fall of 2005. Community and regional banks ignored the guidelines, and the regulators turned their blind eyes. The 3 blind mice didn't see the carving knife coming. Home values will be sliced by 20% by year end. Credit derivatives can not be marked to market, given the slicing and dicing of assumed cash flows. As a result, many community banks face failure, and their assets will be carved up right through 2009. Send your comments and questions to support@rightsideadvisors.com. That's today's 4 in 4. Enjoy your day.